Hey everybody, Stephanie here with the Machine Gun Nest, and today I am coming to you with some breaking news. So reporter Adam Carito from the Washington Free Beacon has put out this incredible, shocking piece that should concern everybody. And in it, he has stated that the Biden administration has admitted to maintaining almost 1 billion records of firearms transactions. So some of these are digital and some of these are hard copy, but right now 856 million of these records are digital. So what's going on? What is the current law? Why does this matter? What's happening? So right now, as the current law states, as an FFL, a federal firearms licensee, somebody who can transact firearms, we are required to store our records for 20 years. If we ever were to go out of business or relinquish our FFL, sell the company and not deal under this FFL anymore, every record within 20 years that we've had must be relinquished to the ATF, and then these go to a facility in West Virginia. Now, the funny thing about this facility in West Virginia is it is so jam-packed with records that the floor has already broken through, which is just amazing. So what is the ATF doing with these records? Are they creating some kind of database? Is this some kind of registry? Well, right now, the federal law prohibits, and I'm going to read to you the law itself. It says, the law prohibits any system of registration of firearms, firearm owners, or firearms transactions or dispositions from being established. So the ATF is holding on to all of these records, but they are explicitly forbidden by federal law to actually turn this into a database or a registry. So right now, as the law stands, these 4473s are scannable and many are digitized, but Congress again prohibits these records from being searchable. Now, what's interesting about this that I think a lot of people are missing is that if you use Google Photos on your phone, or the most recent iOS update for Apple phone users, this technology already exists. It's not even something that has to be especially implemented to turn these digitized records to something searchable and scannable. Right now, as it stands on Google Photos, which I use and I love Google Photos, I take photos of documents all the time. I take screenshots of documents, pictures of my Kindle, little pieces that I want to remember, and I can go through and search based on word, name, any text, and pull up those documents. So if you have a smartphone, you already have the technology to go to essentially turn what they have into a registry or a database. So this is just a total bold-faced lie that their records are not already a registry. That line has already been crossed. It's already been egregiously stepped over. So just the mere fact that they have these records is in and of itself a registry. I think a lot of people who might not be familiar with their smart devices are saying, well, we're close to the line because they haven't yet made it searchable. It's already searchable. If you have a smartphone, it's already searchable, and that's scary. So previously, Congressman Michael Cloud got word in a report that there were 54 million records being held by the ATF. So he and 52 other representatives sent an inquiry to the ATF and the DOJ saying, essentially, what's going on? What are all of these records? What are they being used for? How are you using them? Is there a way to quantify their just use? How many of these are actually leading to prosecution of gun crimes? Well, throughout his questioning, now we have learned that almost 1 billion records are being held by the ATF. And like I said in the beginning of this video, 856 are already digitized. So what do we know so far? The Biden administration is again using the ATF to skirt federal law. As Congressman Michael Cloud said, under the president's watch, the ATF has increased surveillance on American gun owners at an abhorrent level. The Biden administration continues to empower criminals and foreign nationals while threatening the rights of law-abiding Americans. It's shameful, and this administration should reconsider its continued attacks on American gun owners. So like I said, as it stands, as an FFL and all other FFLs, we're required to hold these records for 20 years. But the Biden administration is actively pursuing changing the law so that we have to hold these records in perpetuity. Back in 1985, Congress was talking about setting these record-keeping laws. What do we do with these? And in 1985, they realized so few gun crimes are committed with firearms that were registered beyond 20 years in the past. So that's where they came up with this 20-year number. So to extend that beyond the 20-year mark, according to the ATF's own admission, is nonsensical and it is rather arbitrary. So why is the ATF doing this? They say it's used to trace guns used in crime, but we know that their attempt isn't actually working and it is creating a de facto registry, so let's talk about this. According to the ATF's National Tracing Center, quote, it has no ability to determine the successful prosecution of hundreds of thousands of gun crime traces it completes annually, nor does it have any way to link a trace for a specific prosecution for our particular year. The agency confirmed that to Congress. So fascinating. So they're setting up this database, this registry, which we know is already searchable, which is illegal as per federal law. And they're saying that it is set up for this noble purpose, but then they admit to Congress themselves that they're not even able to carry out the purpose that they're establishing this for. So I can't help but think that this is nefarious in nature and not just due to incompetence. So last year, you may or may not have been following us yet at the time, but we were the first to release a piece predicting the outcome of this very thing. And in that piece, we said that the reordering of the 4473 and the subsequent digitization would lead to a de facto registry, and everything that we predicted is now coming true, and it's really, really unfortunate. So they're claiming that they're not going to use a registry, so let's talk about what that means. Because registries, as we know, is the precursor to confiscation. That's happening right now with Rare Breed and their forced reset triggers. It's happening with Big Daddy Unlimited with their triggers. They are trying to change definitions and detect who has purchased these, what gun dealers have these items, to then go after and confiscate what is legal according to their own definitions and according to federal law. This is really important, and this is happening at a terrifying pace, because this was our previous video that we released just a few days ago, and you can check this piece on Zero Hedge as well. So they are actively using registration or records to confiscate. If you don't think that this is going to lead to anything worse, you are not living in reality. And if you think we're being dramatic, we're not, because the proof is that it's unfortunately happening right now. If they can change the definition of what is a fully and semi-automatic weapon on their whim and trying to change it to rate of fire versus the actual mechanism that causes these things to happen, there's no reason why next they couldn't come after our semi-automatic rifles. That's a completely logical conclusion without jumping to any type of extreme. So what's next? What is Congress going to do about this? That remains to be seen. I have some optimism and some positivity left in me, but under this administration, I honestly don't know, but we are not hopeless. I implore you, please contact your representatives. Now remember, your representatives might be really great 2A supporters, but they might not be a gun expert, and that is okay. So when you call and you're informing them about this situation, be kind, explain, speak to inform, and explain to them why this is important, and explain these mechanisms if you need to, if they don't currently understand. They're on our side. Many of our leaders are on our side. The takeaway from this is we have a registry. Registries always precede confiscation. So we're going to keep you updated as this develops. It's a quickly developing story. If you are interested in hearing more, please subscribe to our channel and hit us up on Instagram at The Machine Gun Nest.